already time for me to sit down and film this video again for the 4th year in a row. I did this video in 2022, 23, 24, and now 25, and it's one of my favorite ways to kick off the year. I look forward to it so much. They say it takes you about 30 days for your brain to turn something into a habit, and so that's kind of where I started. I think it's actually like much longer than that, but when I started this 3 years ago, that was sort of what I needed to just kickstart this sort of like weird relationship that I had with fitness in my mind and from my past, and just turn it into much more of like a no big deal, carve 20 to 30 minutes out of your day and just move your body when you can kind of thing. And so it's really evolved over the years. I think it's been really fun to do and see how my relationship to fitness has changed every year that I do this. And I have so many things to say in this video, and yeah, I can't believe that here we are, but let's go ahead and jump into my 30 days of movement, which I'm so proud of myself for. I always had just absolutely horrendous relationship to exercise throughout my young adult life. I always used it as a means of punishment. I grew up in like the prime diet culture era, so for me exercise meant like working off your food or just something to, yeah, like reprimand yourself for eating certain things. And so it's no wonder that I grew up as an adult and hated exercise. I thought that it meant burpees and running and very strict, boring, awful workouts. And then I discovered this term probably back in like 2021 or 2022 called joyful movement. And it's just basically the practice of moving your body to celebrate it and what it can do rather than punish it. So that's something that like completely changed my life. And I saw so many people rediscovering what fitness and movement meant to them, and so I was like, well, I'll give it a try. And so I just kind of went on this journey and decided to try working out every day for 30 days and see what happened, and now here we are. And it's like really changed my life in a lot of ways. So what I wanted to do differently this year, because if you haven't seen those previous year videos, I will link them down below for you. I wanted to have a little bit of a mindset shift. I will say it gets a little bit better every year, and I think I just have like a healthier approach to it, but the very first thing that I knew I wanted to do differently this time was no metrics, no Apple Watches, no Oura rings, no tracking my steps or anything like that, because I know myself and I know that I can get into a really unhealthy headspace with that, especially as like a Capricorn, you know what I mean? I love the data, but I think in the past I would focus a lot less on just like getting up and moving and more on like, did I burn a certain number of calories on my Apple Watch, or did I close my rings for the day, or whatever it was. And just to me, I don't need to know all of that. I don't really need to know all of that. So I was like, no, we're not gonna use any technology. We're just gonna do it. Another thing that I started was a mindfulness practice, or at least attempting. I would say I remembered probably a little over half of the time this month, but a mindfulness practice of just centering myself either before or during a workout, setting an intention, really just kind of like getting myself in the right headspace before I move my body, being appreciative that I can move my body, you know, all those different things. And they really do make a difference, even if you just have to like do a quick little cheesy mantra to hype yourself up. Like, it really does make an impact. So much of exercise is mental along with the physical, so that was something that I really wanted to make sure that I was trying to focus on as best as I could throughout this process. Another thing that is probably a repeat of years prior is just that I want to continue striking the balance between being gentle with myself, okay, not being like one of those crazy coaches that's like push harder, but also at the same time maintaining discipline throughout the process, because if I'm a little too gentle on myself, I'm never gonna move my body, you know what I mean? So trying to find that happy medium between those two. Once again, a work in progress, something that I'm working on, but ditching perfectionism and just getting up and moving my body, trying to have as much of a no big deal attitude towards this as possible, and letting go of whatever I think people expect of me, or what is considered a good workout, or what is considered a perfect amount of time, or whatever it may be. Just like literally doing it because it feels good, doing the workouts that make me feel good, doing the workouts that fuel me. What I was focusing on for this specific challenge was just moving my body every day, not necessarily what exactly I'm doing or if I'm doing it perfectly, literally just getting up and moving. And another thing that I really tried to do was include a lot of affirmations, which is like kind of separate from the mindfulness and sort of like getting in the right zone before you do the workout. This was like during the workout or even afterward. I would try to do a lot of of just like those kind of inward thoughts of like what some would call really cheesy things that you would say to yourself, like, thank you so much, body. Thank you for showing up for me today and for what you're able to do. And wow, you're getting so much stronger. Or I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself for making this commitment to myself and honoring this commitment to myself. I'm literally gonna be strong as hell when I'm older. I'm building so much muscle and strength. I deserve to take care of myself. That was a big one. I just like, you know, I would get emotional sometimes or just feel really kind of like in tune with myself. And I learned that from one of the workouts that I'll talk about in this video, is just like thanking your body or just being like, hey body, I got you, you know? And like, listen, it's not for everyone, but it really helps for me, okay? And speaking of workouts, the actual workouts that I wanted to do, I kind of like mapped out ahead of time for this challenge. It wasn't necessarily that I had like a schedule, but I just had an idea of like, okay, these are the workouts that I want to do for this 30 days. The first one being Trainwell. It's a personal trainer app that I've worked with in the past on my channel. This is not sponsored at all whatsoever. I just still use it a year later and love it. Grow with Joe is a YouTuber who makes like really quick, easy, sort of like walking based HIIT workouts, Tabata workouts, things like that. Also MK Fit, who does dance cardio workouts, who I love. I did throw in a Zumba workout in there, kind of just as a wild card, and we'll talk about that. I started Pilates, which I think I did once in one of these years previously, like maybe 2023, and I hated it, but I wanted to give it a try again. Step aerobics, so it's like that kind of almost 80s, 90s style, you know, you go up on a step, but like a little more evolved. There's like choreography and stuff. Pony Sweat Dance Aerobics, which is more of like an 80s dance party kind of thing. And then of course walking, whether that be walking on my walking pad, walking outside, whatever it may be. And I will get into like how many times I did each of those as we go on. And as far as goals go, like before I went into this, I was like, okay, these are my 3 goals. These are kind of my North Star that I'm really going for into this challenge. Goal number 1, similar to what I was saying before, is just to get up and move every day. Don't focus on if I'm doing the right workout or what it is that I'm doing. Just carve a few minutes out of your day, get up and do it, and really focus on the discipline over the motivation. That's one of the things that's been a driving force for me. I've talked about in years past. If you're relying on motivation to work out, it's probably not gonna happen as often as you want. And so really leaning on that discipline, like I get a lot of questions of like, how do you get up? I just do it. I don't want to do it most of the time, but I do it, and I feel so much better for it afterwards. So really discipline over motivation. And I saw a thing on Pinterest that was like, rely on the plan, not the feeling. Kind of that same vibe. Like you have a plan, you're gonna stick to it no matter what, and honoring that commitment to yourself. Goal number 2 was to step out of my comfort zone with new workouts, which I showed in the list, and I did find a couple that I really enjoyed. So we'll get into that. And then goal number 3 is to just have fun with it. Realize that it's not a competition with anyone else. I mean, maybe myself, but really this is kind of like a free, gentle, open experiment that I really just want to encourage me and make me want to move my body more and just get me up and moving and less time on the couch doom scrolling. You know what I mean? Okay, so I wrote little notes down every single day of the 30 days, and I didn't actually get started on January 1st like I had wanted because I got the Christmas plague that everyone had. I was quite literally so ill, so I believe I started this on like January 4th or something like that. I'm really glad I took the time to write like 1 or 2 sentences every time I worked out, just because it's nice to recall. I would not remember any of this if I hadn't started writing it down, so I think I started doing that like the 1st or 2nd year, and I'm really glad that I've stuck with it. So for day 1, I did a Trainwell workout. Trainwell is something that I do twice a week. I've actually bumped it down to once a week, which I'll talk about later, but I really enjoy it. It's just something that makes me feel strong. It's helping me build muscle. And I wanted to start with this because number 1, I do it twice a week, every Monday and Thursday, and it's just part of my schedule, but also I just really wanted to like ease back into it with something not too intense, not too crazy. And I'm gonna be honest, I didn't feel great. And I had to remind myself, and actually Drew had to remind me as well, that like it was my first day working out in like months. Like it's not gonna be fun the first time. It's actually gonna be really hard and not that enjoyable. I feel very winded. I feel very out of shape. I feel very, it's giving no endurance. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't really enjoy myself that much. I just kept having to remind myself that this isn't a competition or a race, it's just me moving. Day 2, I did a Grow with Jo morning workout just for 20 minutes. I was having some ENT issues. I'm always having those, but when I'm sick, they really flare up. So like I was moving around and I could feel pressure in my ear, and that just like wasn't very fun. But I was still really glad I did it, and I was just trying my best not to be in my head about the all or nothing thing and just kind of giving whatever percentage I had to give that day. So if I had 50%, giving 50%, which is kind of like giving 100%, if that makes sense. Day 3, as you can imagine, I had some sore muscles after not working out for a while, and it was too dark to walk outside. I really wanted to take a walk and like shake out my muscles. So what I ended up doing was walking on my walking pad, which I have never been more grateful for. I was able to like finish my book that I was reading. I finished Frida McFadden's The Boyfriend, by the way. I was able to get some work done while I was doing it, but I wrote down on my little notes here that I just felt like it wasn't enough, and I am really just actively, as I'm doing this challenge, coaching myself that that's all made up. Like, any movement is good movement, and don't let anyone tell you that it wasn't enough or it wasn't good enough, because it's a hell of a lot better than doing nothing, which is what I would have done anyways. So I was really proud of myself for that. Day 4 was another Train Well workout, and I could honestly feel my confidence like building itself back up by this point. I wasn't feeling as sick anymore. I still had like some ear issues, but I was feeling much better than I was a couple of days ago, and it was like the first day where I was like, wow, I'm really proud of myself. I also wrote down, since I slept like ass and woke up super early, I was done with my workout at 7 a.m. with 4 exclamation points. So, you know, I was proud of myself. What can I say? I really wanted to focus on like at-home workouts for this month and not like have to go drive to a class. I just wanted to like do my workout in the morning in my own home. So it was dark, but like we survived. For day 5, I did a 20-minute MK Fit dance cardio workout. This was my first one of the year, and I had a lot of fun. I felt really good. I wrote down here that I was still getting used to the early morning workouts in the dark, as I just mentioned, but it feels so good to be done by the time the sun is rising. That is one thing that I will say. It is like the most accomplished feeling when you're like making your protein shake after your workout and like the sun is just rising, you know? I don't have to get up at 5 in the morning to be able to do that. You know, enjoying the sunrise every morning was quite nice, I will say. For day 6, I did a 3-mile walk on the walking pad. I want to say this was like a Saturday night at like 7 p.m. or something like that. But I was determined. I was like, no, we're only on day 6. I am not going to let this go. I was really like firm on my goal of doing all 30 days in a row. And this was my first time walking on my walking pad while watching a TV show, like, and not doing something like working or editing or reading or whatever it was. I just like rolled my walking pad into my bedroom, and it was actually so nice. It went by so fast. I watched 2 episodes of The Bear, and it was slayed. I was really proud of myself on this day because I almost didn't do it, but like I got it in a way that worked best for me, and that's what I was happy with. Day 7 was another 20-minute Grow with Jo workout, and this was a Sunday, and I hadn't done like a weekend morning workout yet in this challenge or this year in general, and so I was really proud of myself for just taking 20 minutes out of my day and doing it on a Sunday. You know, it's not that difficult to find 20 minutes. I tend to, especially with ADHD, I think, well, I have to do this before and then I have to do this after, and then it's gonna take this many minutes to do this. It's really not that deep. Like, if I just get up and do it, I find that I'm so much happier. This was also the first day that I felt my endurance building back up again. Like, I was like, okay, this is a lot better. This is easier. I feel myself building up that endurance, and it just like motivated me to keep going. Day 8 was another Train Well video, and my trainer actually like has me on a 3-week cycle. So I do the same workouts on Mondays for 3 weeks, and then the same workouts on Thursdays for 3 weeks, and then they rotate. And something that I really enjoyed during this process was feeling myself getting stronger with each one. So this was my second time doing one of the workouts, and I could feel that it was a little bit easier and that I was having a better time doing it. I wrote down that this Monday feels so much different from last Monday, and that makes me feel really excited. Day 9 was a Grow with Jo Tabata workout. I think I had done this one once before, and it started off super easy, but then it definitely got more challenging, and I was like, whoa, am I like in over my head here? I definitely felt challenged, but I also am like such a big advocate of modifying when you need to. I think it's like not a big deal at all to modify a workout. Just a little change that makes you a little bit more comfortable and makes it more manageable for you throughout the workout. So I modify like tons of workouts, and I'm just such a big proponent for that. I hate like fitness culture and fitness bros and people that are like, you need to do it 100%. Like, I don't think so. I don't believe that. I think whatever works for people is great, but for me, like, I just want to be a reminder that you can do things imperfectly and still enjoy them and still get something out of it. Day 10 was one of those days where I like did not sleep well at all the night before, and so I felt like it threw off my entire day, you know, those days. And then I just like laid in bed and doom scrolled for longer than I wanted to, and then suddenly it was like later in the day than I wanted it to be, and I felt like my whole day was ruined, and I was like, stop. Don't do that. Don't catastrophize. Don't fall into the ADHD paralysis trap. Just like get up and start moving. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go for a walk outside. Haven't done that yet. And it was perfect weather. It was so beautiful. I was enjoying myself so much. The sun was shining. The birds were chirping. People were out walking their dogs, and I was like, oh my god, I love touching grass. I love being outside. This is incredible. I am truly my happiest self in nature, so I was very glad that I still managed to turn the day around after like beating myself up for half of the day. Day 11 was another train well workout. This was the first time throughout this process that I felt myself get into a little bit of a flow state when I was working out. You know, I was thinking about other things, and then I realized like, oh, I'm working out right now. So that felt really great, and that only happens every once in a while, but I was really, really happy that that happened on this day. Day 12 was a 20-minute Zumba video. I just like was in the mood to try Zumba, and I had been to a class once in 2019 with a friend, and I was like, okay, this was like really fun. So I just looked up a random channel, and this one seemed to have like a lot of views and a lot of subscribers. So I did try it out, and I will say it was not for me. It was a very interesting, like stationary almost Zumba workout. It just wasn't at all what I expected, and like I still sweat, like I still felt like, you know, I broke a sweat, which was good, but I was expecting more choreography and like dancing all over the place, and this was kind of like the same 6 movements over and over again, so it just really wasn't for me. I'm like not trying to discredit this creator or anything like that, but it just, you know, not every workout is for everyone. Day 13 was another outside walk. This was a weekend morning walk. We walked for about 3 miles or so with an iced coffee. It was beautiful morning. Literally nothing bad to say about it whatsoever. Loved it. Day 14 was another MK Fit like dance style HIIT workout. I really enjoyed it, and I was actually finding myself really letting go of this sort of idea that I was looking silly during the workout, and I was just like, who cares? Dance like no one's watching. Literally just do your thing. It does not matter. I think sometimes I think that it's like embarrassing if you look stupid when you're working out. And I mean, I wanted to film myself throughout this video because I just wanted to show that like you can just move. It doesn't have to look good or look perfect. Obviously make sure you're not injuring yourself, but like it doesn't have to be the most gorgeous thing in the world. You can like flail around your living room and still have a good time and still work out. I think MK Fit's videos are like a really good practice for me to like let go of all of that for sure. Day 15 came. It was the halfway mark. I was so proud of myself. I was feeling great. I did another Grow with Joe dance cardio video, and it was just like fun and silly and cute, and I really loved it. And one thing that makes a huge difference for me is if the instructor is smiling and having a good time, and I love that she's like, I'm proud of you, or she's just like, you know, reminding you to smile. It makes you smile. It's infectious, and I love that. Day 16 was another train well workout, and this was good because I could feel myself wanting to push myself harder. Like I'm doing similar workouts, but I'm realizing that I'm like giving more of myself during them, and that just gave me that extra motivation to like keep going and keep pushing. And that's what I love about doing things like this every day, because you can really feel the change in yourself and feel like, oh, that was like really hard for me last week and it's a little less hard for me now, so it just makes me want to push even harder. Day 17, I decided to try a Pilates video. Like I said, I did one back in like I think 2023, 2022, something like that, and I wasn't a fan. It wasn't my favorite, so I got recommendations from you guys who said to try Bailey Brown, so I did one of her, I think it was like a 40-minute Pilates video, and I actually loved it. Don't get me wrong, I definitely had to modify here and there, a lot of places actually, but I love the way that she gives positive affirmations throughout the workout. She says things like, you're building all this beautiful strength, and your body's amazing, look what it can do for you, and you should be so proud of yourself for showing up for you today. And so I was like really looking forward to continuing to do this and get even stronger, and like the meditation slash mindfulness bit at the end almost had me getting emotional. So I'm definitely a fan, and I noticed that this video was the first in a 14-day challenge, so I may have to do like a 14-day Pilates challenge, which I'll talk about more like at the end of the video. But I was like, okay, I'm definitely gonna add this to my list of repeating and just seeing how much stronger I get and better I get at it over time. Day 18 was another another train well workout. I really gave it my all on this day, and I pushed myself even further, and I felt really, really good about it. Pretty much right around the halfway point, as you could tell, I started like adding more workouts in because I was feeling more just like consistent. I was like, okay, I have a good routine going. Let me start kind of shaking it up a little bit and adding new things in. So for day 19, I tried my very first step aerobics workout, and I had so much fun. If you guys watched my testing viral TikTok trends and products video, the most recent one, I actually filmed a little bit of that workout while I was testing out the leggings for that video, and I had so much fun. Like, this was so unexpected for me, and I had actually seen a couple of people talk about step aerobics, so I was like, okay, I'll try it. I ordered a step off Amazon. I was like, what could it hurt? And I think the thing that I enjoyed so much is that my brain was working so hard on like remembering the steps and where I was going that I wasn't really paying attention to how hard my body was working, and I love workouts like that. I think that's why I just love dance aerobics in general. I felt so happy, and like I just left it thinking I can't wait to do more, and that was like just the little boost that I needed. Day 20 was a pony sweat workout, which I like honestly is one of my favorite workouts of all time, I have to say. It is just so joyful. It makes me so happy. It makes me feel so in tune with my body. Amelia, the instructor, is just incredible. I wish I was still in LA or lived in an area where I could go to the classes. It's mostly in person now. They do live stream some of their classes, but those are an hour, and I typically like the 30-minute videos. They used to post one monthly on their website, but now they haven't been doing that as much. They've been focusing more on like the in-person and the live streaming, which I totally love. So yeah, there haven't been many more 30-minute videos for me to do, but I went back and did one that I've done many times before, and I just loved it. It made me so happy. She is the instructor that completely changed exercise for me. I went to one of her classes in 2019, and I had the best time. It was so transformative, and she's the one who at the end of every practice, it like feels corny at first, but you kind of like close your eyes and you rock back and forth and you say thank you to your body, or hey to your body, or I've got you to your body, and like it's very kind of hippy dippy, but I love it and it makes me so happy. It just really fills my cup, and I just couldn't stop smiling when I did this workout. I loved it. Day 21, I took another weekend walk with my dad this time, and Drew, and my dad was in town for a little bit, so we just like walked around. We got about 10,000 steps in. It was great. We just chatted. Such a lovely time, beautiful weather. Can't say a bad thing about it. Day 22 was another train well video, and I wrote down that I could really feel my endurance building, and this workout 3 weeks ago would have killed me, but today it felt really challenging yet still manageable at the same time, which I loved, and it's like my favorite sweet spot to be in for workouts. Day 23 was the day that I had been dreading this entire time. I really got a lot of issues with my cycle, and I could feel it coming. And day 2 is just always the worst. If you know, you know. So I knew that going into this was probably going to be the hardest day for me. The energy levels are like in the negatives around this time. The pain levels are through the roof, but I decided to honor my commitment to myself and that it didn't have to be anything crazy. I just kept telling myself this will be the hardest day, but you can get through it. And guess what? It probably wasn't even the hardest day. It wasn't that bad. It was much better than I thought. I did an MK Fit video, and then I had so much energy still afterwards, weirdly, that I did like another 10-minute Grow with Joe workout. So I was like kind of on fire this day. I loved it. Day 24, I did the same Bailey Brown Pilates video that I loved, and it was so much harder this time. I think it's really interesting how a workout can vary depending on so many different outside variables, like how much you slept the night before, what you ate, where you are in your cycle, all these kinds of different things, where you are mentally. So this was really challenging for me this time, but I'm still feeling really motivated to keep repeating it and just like building my strength and confidence as I go. Day 25 was another train well workout, and while I did feel good and really pushed myself during this workout, do you just ever have those days where you're not feeling it? Like, that was how it was for me. My cycle this month was really brutal, both physically and mentally. I probably should have listened to my body and just like gone for a walk instead, but like I just had this idea that, okay, on Mondays and Thursdays I do this workout, so I have to do it kind of thing. I had to check this weird like non-existent box in my mind, which is very Capricorn of me. So yeah, it was a lesson to really lean in and listen to my body. Day 26, I did the same step aerobics workout as before. It was a Taylor Swift themed one, and it was just so much fun. I will say, again, much harder than the time before, but still very fun, and will definitely incorporate it into my workout schedule for sure. Day 27 was another 3-mile outdoor walk. I loved it. I will say though, by this point on day 27, I was still really enjoying doing my workouts, but I was growing quite fatigued of filming them. Like I was like, I just kind of want to get up and do my workouts and not film it, but I was committed to showing that I worked out for all of these 30 days in this video. So, you know, it's fine. Day 28 was another morning hike slash walk. We went with Drew's mom this time, and it's kind of like an outdoor mountain range hike walk thing. It's mostly a walk though, and we had a great time. It was nice, beautiful weather, great company, just chit-chatting. As I said before, I am an earth sign. I just adore being outside, and I need to do it more, especially in these like perfect, glorious Arizona winters. Day 29 was another train well workout, and I could feel myself getting stronger every time I do these workouts, which makes such a difference. I noticed that I'm able to push myself further, I can hold things for longer, I can handle higher intensity things, have better breath control, etc., and that just like, it makes me so excited. Those are the kind of like stats that I'm really looking for throughout this. That's the data that I'm going off of, is like literally how I feel, and it makes me so happy. And then finally for day 30, we made it. We made it to day 30, and I decided to do my final workout of this 30 days and just walk on my walking pad. You know, I was like, should I end it with a bang? Should I go on this big elaborate hike? Should I go to a workout class? Should I? And I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to listen to my body, and on this day I wanted to do something low impact. I wanted to walk. I wanted to get some steps in while editing a vlog, and I stayed in bed a little late on this day too, so you know, that has something to do with it. So really like multitasking is the main reason why I love the walking pad so much, and I was still able to work while I was getting movement in, and that just made like such a difference to me mentally. And just a great reminder that all movement is good movement. So anything that you do that's moving your body is great. If it's taking a little dance break in between like meetings or something like that, if it's going to a crazy workout class and weightlifting and doing all those types of things, if it's just walking on your walking pad for an hour, it's all great. You know what I mean? So I am happy to say that I did 30 out of 30 workouts. I did not miss a single day. I felt really lucky that I didn't, you know, get sick or anything happen in between. I did 9 Trainwell workouts, 5 outdoor walks, 4.5 kind of Grow with Joe videos because I did that extra 10 minutes that one day, 3 MK Fit dancing workouts, 3 times walking on the walking pad, 2 Pilates videos, 2 step aerobics videos, 1 pony sweat dance aerobics video, and 1 Zumba video. I'm so proud of myself. I wrote down a few things that I noticed this time around compared to the other previous years. The first one being I wasn't intimidated by the number of days I had left like I was in previous years, or even like the commitment I had made to the challenge. I was like, oh no, like what if I miss a day? I was kind of like no big deal about it, but I was just very determined and like I got it done. Next thing I noticed, you could probably tell from around day 15 of the workouts, was I started to get a little bored of like the same workouts over and over again. So I decided to switch it up a little bit, and I think that's great. I think if you're noticing that something isn't serving you as much anymore, that you can just either stop doing it, you can go down a couple of days like I did for the Trainwell. I felt like it was just taking up a lot of my week and I wanted to incorporate more low impact stuff. So I talked to my trainer. I went from 2 workouts a week to 1 workout a week. I will be bumping back up to 2 workouts a week once we move and I join a gym, which we'll talk about. I felt like in previous years I loved the consistency and knowing what to expect, but this year I just I wanted more diversity in my workouts. Another thing that I noticed is I was letting kind of outside opinions get in sometimes, and I was really having to correct myself in real time because I will get comments, or most of the time well-intended opinions of like what I should be doing for my workouts because it works great for another person with PCOS or another person with ADHD or whatever. And so I was kind of getting in my head about like what a good workout consists of, but I was really, I think, doing a very good job of like correcting and redirecting myself and being like, no, this is what's working for me right now and it's great. And then finally, I really noticed how the more I do this and the more strength and endurance I build, the more momentum I have and the more motivation I have to keep going. Obviously, like if you do something multiple times and you're really bad at it, it's like really hard. You gotta dig deep to keep going. So when you notice those little tiny improvements, it just gives you that extra boost to want to keep going even more. So yeah, as far as like next steps in the coming months goes, I would really love to start taking in-person workout classes. We're kind of in like a life transition at the moment. We're going to be moving soon. And so I want to wait till I get to a new place and like start a new studio there and trying all sorts of different workout classes like bar and Pilates and cycling and all those good kinds of things. So that'll be really fun, as well as joining a gym. That's another one. Joining a gym and starting weightlifting is something that I'm really excited about. I haven't done it in like probably 15 years. So that's something that I really, really want to start doing. Like I just feel ready, you know what I mean? Also, I think I might try like a 14-day Pilates challenge, maybe. Like I mentioned earlier, maybe I'll do the Bailey Brown one. If you guys have any that you recommend, let me know. Doing some other sort of fitness challenge, and maybe even like doing one like once a month on this channel is something that I'm kind of interested in. So if that sounds like something that you might want to see, definitely let me know in the comments below. And maybe I'll do something new every month. But yeah, thank you so much for being here and for watching this. I am so proud of myself for doing this 30 days of workouts for the 4th year in a row. If you have considered starting like some sort of fitness challenge for yourself for only you and no other reason, I would highly recommend it. It was just so fulfilling. And as of today, it's the 32nd day and I haven't stopped yet. So, you know, I'm just gonna keep going until it doesn't feel good, and I'll take those rest and recovery days to like walk or do something more low impact or whatever, and we'll see. You know, I'll keep trying things and sort of see what works out or whatever. But if you were looking for like a little bit of gentle encouragement to start moving in a way that works best for you, here it is. And if not, that's great. Hope you enjoyed this video either way. So yeah, if you have any other ideas for like fitness related videos, or just what you want to see in general, like what are the relatable kind of like fitness videos that you want to see, please let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You can also turn on my post notifications if you want to be notified every time I post a new video. Thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. I'm sending you all of my love, and I'll see you very soon in my next video. Bye.